the Zu-23, to the lightweight M2 Browning machine guns mounted on bombers plane like this one, and even a Humvee equipped with an M2 Browning on the side that can track and even launch a Stinger missile are some of the newer anti-aircraft guns. In this video, we'll see how crews track, range, and fire the M2 Browning from a moving aircraft while engaging another fighter plane in motion. To score a hit, you must lead the target, aim about 3 gun sight radian ahead of the enemy's flight path, then squeeze the trigger and let the rounds rip into the attacking plane. On the ground, we'll also look at the Russians' Zu-23. This is how the gunner turns a horizontal hand crank to swing the twin 23mm cannons in azimuth, and a vertical crank or pulley raises and lowers the barrels for elevation. And finally pressed on the twin foot pedals to open fire both barrels together, taking out the incoming target. By the end of the video, you'll know how to bring both of these guns to bear on drones, helicopters, and fast-moving aircraft, all in the videos ahead. Alright, let's go old school and learn how to fire a machine gun from a classic B-17 bomber. Definitely one of the trickier setups to master. Now, most people make the mistake of aiming instinctively, thinking they've got it lined up, and then boom, they pull the trigger. But the shot misses by a mile. The bullet just sails right past. So here's how you actually aim. You'll want to use the 35mm radius of your gun sight as a measuring stick. That's your baseline. For proper deflection, you need to lead your target by about 3 radians, which is just a fancy way of saying aim 3 times the radius of your gun sight ahead of where the plane is flying. Just count it out: 1, 2, 3, and fire. If you've got it right, the bullet should meet the aircraft mid-flight. This method works best when the enemy is coming in at a 90-degree angle, that perfect side shot. What you're seeing here is just a bird's eye view of the attack, but from your gunner's position, it'll look a little different. Still, the idea is the same. You're not aiming where the plane is, you're aiming where it's going to be. Timing and judgment are everything. You only want to shoot when the enemy is actually attacking and within range. Wasting rounds does you no good. Line up your shot between the incoming fighter and the tail of your own bomber, and be ready to adjust depending on how steep or shallow the enemy's approach is. The sharper the angle, the more deflection you'll need to apply. Let's slow down a bit. This is how you measure the angle. Draw a line from the target to the tail of the plane. Now here's what happens. The bullets will curve based on physics and the motion of the plane. This line represents the angle for firing along with the bullet's trajectory. At 90 degrees, the curve is about 3 radians. At 15 degrees, it's around 2 radians. At 22 degrees, it becomes 1 radian. Finally, at 11 degrees, you aim at half a radian. In modern times, the traditional anti-aircraft gun has evolved into systems like the Avenger, budget-friendly, mobile, short-range air defense platform built on a modified M10-37 Humvee chassis. Designed to protect ground forces from aerial threats such as aircraft, helicopters, and drones, the Avenger is a versatile and effective solution on the battlefield. Its most distinctive feature is the 360-degree rotating turret mounted on the rear of the Humvee. This turret houses the operator beneath an angled glass canopy and is armed with 2 4-tube launchers for Stinger surface-to-air missiles, along with a 12.7mm 50-caliber heavy machine gun. The primary weapon system is the Stinger missile, a fire-and-forget weapon that locks onto a target and guides itself to impact after launch. For closer-range threats, the Avenger is equipped with this heavy machine gun, which carries a 200-round ammunition load. This weapon is crucial for taking down targets that are too close for the Stinger missiles to effectively engage. Adding to its capabilities, the Avenger features an integrated tracking system that can automatically follow targets. The turret can even be controlled remotely from inside the vehicle's passenger compartment, providing an added layer of safety for the operator. And when the target is in sight, all you have to do is squeeze the trigger right below the controls, and this machine can bring down drones, helicopters, and more with devastating precision. To operate and maneuver the Zu-23, Use the hand crank located on the side of the mount. Turning the crank clockwise rotates the gun to the right. Then turning it counterclockwise rotates it to the left. To adjust the gun's elevation, there's a vertical crank or pulley system. Pulling this crank toward yourself raises the barrels, allowing you to aim at higher angles. If you push it away from you, the barrels lower, making it easier to target ground-based threats. Now let's talk about how the gun is fired. This is the foot pedal trigger, located opposite the gunner's seat. It is pressed with the foot to fire both barrels simultaneously. Pressing this trigger activates the twin 23mm autocannons, firing them in fully automatic mode. The ZU-23 is a twin-barrel 23mm autocannon system mounted side by side on a lightweight two-wheeled carriage. When it's ready to fire, the wheels are lifted off the ground and the gun is stabilized on a three-point base. It's a manual system typically operated by a crew of 2 to 5. For aiming, it uses optical mechanical sights for engaging aircraft and a straight-tube telescope for targeting ground threats. One of these ZU-23's standout features is its mobility. It can be airdropped, moved quickly. The crew can assemble the ZU-23 from its towed position just minutes even after soft drop landing from a helicopter. In terms of performance, its effective range against aircraft is up to 2,500 meters, with vertical engagement between 1,500 and 2,500 meters. Each barrel can reach a blistering cyclic rate of up to 1,000 rounds per minute, though sustained fire is limited due to barrel heating. Beyond anti-aircraft roles, the ZU-23 also packs a punch against lightly armored ground targets, like at ranges of up to 2 kilometers. These Soviet-era weapons still pack a punch. Let's take a look at how this scenario, how they can take a drone or low-flying helicopter, even jets, out of the sky. When engaging a low-flying drone with the ZU-23, the gunner first identifies the target visually and quickly brings it into view using the manual target sights. These sights, though simple, allow for fast target acquisition when dealing with close or fast-moving threats. The gunner tracks the drone by manually rotating the hand crank to adjust the gun's direction horizontally, following the drone's path across the sky. At the same time, the vertical crank is used to align the barrels with the drone's altitude, raising or lowering them as needed to match the drone's flight path. With the target lined up in the sights, the gunner leads the drone slightly, anticipating its movement before engaging. Once ready, the manual trigger lever, located on the right side of the seat, is pulled to open fire, or foot trigger is used. The twin 23mm autocannons unleash a rapid burst of fire, sending a stream of rounds toward the target. As you can see, the rounds curve through the sky as they are sprayed. The gunner may fire in short bursts, adjusting aim between shots based on the drone's movements and visual feedback through the sights. Throughout the engagement, the gunner relies entirely on hand-eye coordination, the simplicity of the sighting system, and real-time adjustments to track and eliminate the drone before it escapes the effective firing range. We also need to look at how the M2 Browning is being used in modern times, especially against military drones and aircraft. When a helicopter is spotted, the gunner quickly brings the M2 to bear by gripping the spade handles firmly and swinging the weapon to align with the target. Using the iron sights or a mounted optic, if available, you begin tracking the helicopter's movement. Depending on a helicopter's speed and direction, you'll need to lead the target slightly. If it's hovering, you can aim and fire directly at it. But if it's moving across your field of view or approaching at an angle, you need to aim just ahead of its path so your rounds intersect with its flight line. Once the helicopter is in your sights and you're confident in your aim, press down on the butterfly trigger between the spade grips to open fire. The M2 operates in fully automatic mode, sending powerful, high-velocity 50 caliber rounds toward the target. Fire in short, controlled bursts to avoid overheating the barrel and to maintain better accuracy. Watch the tracer rounds closely. They're your best visual cue to adjust your aim on the fly. If your rounds are hitting low or wide, make quick corrections and continue firing. Try to focus your shots on vulnerable areas like the cockpit, the engine, or the rotor assembly when possible. Throughout the engagement, keep a steady firing position, stay low behind cover, and always be aware of your surroundings. With controlled fire and a steady hand, the M2 can do serious damage. Forcing a helicopter to break off, damaging critical systems, or even bringing it down entirely. This is a German artillery gun. A heavy gun shell takes roughly 1 second to climb 1,000 feet. Therefore, it would take approximately 27 seconds for a shell to reach an altitude of 27,000 feet. Now imagine this plane represents a bomber formation flying at 200 miles per hour. If the gun is aimed directly at the aircraft when the shell is fired, the formation will have moved nearly 2 miles before the shell reaches their altitude. All of this original content is in our upcoming video, so watch out and stay subscribed.